What's up, world? Welcome back to another edition of the VSOP Lounge. I, of course, am your host, Captain of the Cool Kids, host of the Grown Man Logic podcast, Dewan J. And I hope it all is well. We learn from my mistakes over here, so I won't make the same mistake that I did last week. The drink of the evening, off the top today. The drink of the evening is a Vieux Carré from the French Quarter. It's similar to like an old fashioned or a Manhattan, but the recipe is right up here somewhere on the screen. If you are listening to this via Apple Music or iTunes, then you can find these on YouTube. Search Grown Man Logic Podcast, and you get the visuals to exactly what I'm saying to you right now. But while you're there, hit the subscribe button. And those of you that are watching me on YouTube as we speak, hit the subscribe button. We're going to continue. This is chapter 2 of our G7 series. Last week, we talked about being genuine and the benefits of being genuine and how to get there. This week, we're going to talk about being gracious. One of the most troubling things that I see on social media today is everyone wants to be hard. Hashtag no emotion. Hashtag fuck your feelings. Hashtag no love. Hashtag love hurts. With statements like these, there's no room for forgiveness. There's no room to be gracious. There's no room to be kind to anybody. I remember a few years ago, I was stationed with this old salty sailor, and the sailor happened to be an MA, a Master at Arms for the Navy, and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, O'Neill, the way to survive in the United States Navy is to assume that everybody's trying to screw you over and that everyone's doing something screwed up." And I thought about it for a second. And this is probably the most screwed up advice that I've ever received in my life. How do you live life like that? It has to be traumatic. It has to be painful. It has to be hurtful for this individual to go through life or come to work every day with this type of mentality. It has to be. There's no way that this is healthy. I took the advice back then, the young, impressionable sailor that I was, baby-faced bandit, if you will. But looking back at this now, as a mature adult who's emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent, and mentally mature, that is screwed up advice. So again, this G7 series is to put men in a position to reach all desired outcomes. Now, nothing's guaranteed, but this is going to following this series and learning about yourself and taking the steps to improve yourself and to make sure that you're in line with these 7 G's. Will definitely put you in a position to take advantage of every opportunity landed at your feet. I can't guarantee the outcome, but it at least gets you in the room, and then the rest is up to you. But if you're in line with this, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the outcome that you desire. So we're talking about being gracious. Gracious, the definition: marked by kindness, courtesy, merciful and compassionate, marked by tact and delicacy. Now, listening to this, and when it comes off, you may be thinking to yourself, that sounds soft. That sounds That sounds like I'm going to be giving up. I'm not going to let anybody walk all over me. I'm not going to let anybody just do whatever they want to me. I'm not going to, and that's not what that's about. The term gracious, in order to be a gracious person, in order to be kind and courteous and merciful and compassionate, you have to be very, very emotionally intelligent. You have to be very emotionally intelligent. And the sad thing is that the majority of us are not. We walk around screaming alpha. We walk around screaming, I'm the boss, I'm a big dog, I'm this and I'm that. And our chests are puffed out and we're peacocking. We're peacocking. Showing off with the intention and the hope of garnering the attention, garnering clout, garnering sex, and we ultimately just look foolish. We look foolish. Now, what does it mean to be compassionate, and why is it important? Compassionate people are empathetic, forgiving, exercise humility, humanity, discretion, compliance, and they show recognition. Now, some of these are self-explanatory, but we're gonna go through them and break them down for those of you guys that are listening, guys and girls that are listening. Because if you're a woman, pass this along to your man by all, but please, for all intents and purposes, empathetic. You feel, you you don't walk around like a robot. You're not a robot. You can feel. Now, there's a misconception out there. Well, it's not a misconception actually, that men lead with logic and women lead with emotion. This is not true for 100% of the people, but it's a good indication of where we are in society. There's nothing better than a man that leads with logic but can feel empathy. To know what it feels like to be in a situation, to know what it feels like to have made a mistake, to know what it feels like to be down bad, to know what it feels like to take a hit and keep going. Because now you as a person, as a leader, as a person who's able to grasp life by the horns, by the balls, when you come across somebody that's not as strong as you emotionally, mentally, even physically, be it in a gym, be it in your workspace, be it somebody that works for you, be it the homeless guy down the street that you are deciding whether or not to give change to or not. Have empathy. I'm not saying that you have to have gone through what they've gone through, but attempt to meet them where they are emotionally at the moment that you're interacting. And that interaction goes a lot better. It's a lot more positive on both sides. And the karma comes back around, hopefully in your favor. It's the Christian thing to do. It'll definitely make your relationship with your significant other a lot better, your partner a lot better, because you can feel them. You can feel what they feel, or you can at least understand what they feel. I think one of the biggest misnomers, misconceptions that men have in today's society is that you have to walk around and you have to be hard all the time. That it's not okay to cry. That it's not okay to show emotion. And that's the biggest bunch of bollocks that I've heard um, recently. Who told you that? Society's conditioned us to have to be tougher than the next man. We're so tough these days that we forgot what feeling feels like. We forgot what it feels like to feel. Senses, touch, taste, smell. We're just robots, always going and going and going. This is how it is. And it is what it is. And no. Why does it have to be that way? once you begin to feel empathy, even if you are a selfish, self-centered asshole, if you're that guy, having empathy or being empathetic makes your life easier. What are you talking about, Dewan? Well, here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ability to forgive and move on, right? A lot of us we claim to a lot of us claim to I'm just gonna let it roll off my back. It's not gonna affect me. But when we go home at night, we're thinking about it. We post in subliminals. We we post in direct action. Meanwhile, we're allowing another person, another human being that does not have any bearing on the well being of your household to impact your mood. Nobody deserves to rent that kind of space in your head. So tap into your empathy and learn to forgive. And when I say forgive, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to shake hands or you're going to hug or you're going to sing kumbaya. No, that's not what I'm saying. Not by a long shot. It's not what I'm saying. Because when you forgive somebody, it's not for them. It's for you. It's for your own internal peace. So you can move past the situation and do something more productive with the energy that you're wasting holding a grudge against that person. You have to you have to realize that everyone's human. And that's the tragedy and the beauty of it all. Everyone's human. The tragedy of it is that we're all going to make mistakes, and those mistakes are inevitably going to hurt someone. The choices that we make affect other people, and we're not perfect. So unintentionally, we're eventually going to hurt somebody. But this is what you have to realize, and then you be the bigger person, and apologize because you know what it feels like to be hurt. You know what it feels like to be burned. You know what it feels like to be stung. You know what it feels like when Mother Nature, the universe, or whatever your belief system is, rears back and it punches you right in the mouth. You know what that feels like. So then forgiving should be no problem because we're all human. We're all human. And you have to extend grace. You have to, you have to, and here's the thing, right? The crazy thing about this is the more grace that you're able and willing to extend, the more favor that you gain. Oh, I'm not doing this for people to like me. This, that. Well, here's the thing. Life is all about relationships. Okay, your promotion, your marriage, relationship with your significant other, relationship with your children, relationship, the way that you carry yourself. It's all affected by how much weight are you actually carrying. How many times have you had friends or you yourself have been in a situation where you felt like the weight of the world was on your shoulders and your posture showed it? The bags under your eyes were big enough to carry groceries. And a coworker, a friend, somebody pulled you to the side and went, "Hey, are you good? Are you okay? Do you need to talk to someone?" And how good did that feel when that happened? But if you're going to place yourself in a position to take advantage of these opportunities and be able to have your desired outcomes in the majority of your situations, you are going to have to learn to extend grace, exercise some empathy, some forgiveness, some humanity. Humanity is at the source of all politics, right? Um, you pick it: abortion, murder, people crossing the border, DACA, um, everything that we hold near and dear comes down to humanity. I don't agree with this. And then, okay, well, what if this was your sister? What if this was your mother? What if this was your daughter that another man was dealing with? You would expect them to exercise graciousness, to handle them with a lot, with grace, with compassion. Discretion. And when I say discretion, that works in two ways, right? I'm talking definition one and two. When I say discretion, I'm talking one definition. You can operate with a level of secrecy. Hey, look, I don't have to tell everything that I know, even though you and I might be at odds, and I know that you did some screwed up stuff, 5, 10, 15 years ago. I'm not going to air you out because I'm extending grace. Definition number one. But definition number two is showing and expressing the appropriate and proper amount of energy in response to a conflict or a problem. Showing and expressing the proper amount of energy in response to a conflict or a problem. This comes with being gracious. This comes with tact. This is known as tact. This is what comes with delicacy. There's some things that you can't just go and air out. Bro, we know you're not a punk. We know that your mom didn't raise no bitch. We know. But it doesn't mean that you should not exercise tact. It does not mean that you shouldn't feel empathy. It does not mean that you shouldn't forgive and realize that that person is a human being as well. This stuff is renting space in your head, space that should be used for creativity, space that could be used for how to up your pressure, how to make your business grow, college schoolwork perhaps to become more qualified. That can't occupy your time at the same time as you're holding beef or you're not being gracious or you haven't forgiven anybody. Recognizing that you are not, recognizing that you're not perfect. And there are some times when people can do some things better than you. The majority of Americans drive their car to a mechanic to change the oil, balance and rotate the tires because not only is it convenient, but they're better than me at that. That's what falls in their wheelhouse and their skill set. Knowing when to give credit when credit is due is an act of graciousness. It's removing yourself out of every situation and literally trying to meet someone else where they are. And it could be you. It quite simply could be you. Learn to comply. Learn when to let someone else take the lead when that's not in your wheelhouse, that's not in your skill set. How do we get there? We'll start with an act of kindness every day. Hold the door an extra 2 seconds for somebody that you normally wouldn't have. Let someone else have the parking space that you were going for and they saw you. Let them have it. Let someone in front of you in line. People that you've been beefing with for 5, 10, 15 years, months, weeks, what have you. Forgive them. Let it go. Have the conversation with them. Because all it takes is one. You are literally one decision away from a completely different life. With that being said, let's go. We talked about being genuine. Now we're talking about being gracious. Now you've gotten two out of the 7 down. You're almost there. But we have to make the decision and we have to take this first step. We have to do it. So exercise some grace this week. Let me know your story. Let me know what you did. Text me 617-752-8150, 617-752-8150, or email me at talk2gml@gmail.com. talk2gml@gmail.com. Let us know how we did. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you feel like I missed something? Let me hear about it. Until then, we'll see you folks next time. Cheers. Did you enjoy what you just watched? Be sure to give Grown Man Logic a listen on all streaming services and follow us on all forms of social media. We'll see you next time.